Hey, it says we're live. So hello, welcome everybody. Wonderful to see you. Namaste and a beautiful blessing for this gorgeous day, October 4th of 2021. And we're getting very close to the new moon. So the stars are exquisite and the deepness, the darkness. And I love that feeling of going into the womb type energy because the new moon is new beginnings, but it's where it's planted. So it feels like we're going more into the stillness and a little bit deeper down. So we get into where those new seeds might be rumbling. And so welcome Akasha here, Nan Akasha, and from nanakasha.com. And if you are interested in manifesting your life more intentionally, right? More the way that you wanted it. Trying to get so the lighting is a little bit better. There we go. And then what you can do is have more peace in your life, have more relaxation, more enjoyment, more presence in the moment. And underneath all the things that we think we want, that we think we're looking for and we're chasing. I love you so much, but I'm going to move you over just a little bit. Thank you, Pumpkin. I know, we'll do some hugs in a minute, a little after this, okay? We'll do hugs. I hug my plants. Okay. And what we're really looking for, it isn't the car or the sexy hot lover, and there's nothing wrong with the car and the sexy hot lover or your soulmate or a different job or a different relationship or a different body or more money, all these things. We're in a phase of life now of accelerated evolution. And so in order to manifest in an effective way, to be the creator of our reality rather than buffeted about by circumstance and feeling like we're never quite here fully in control of what we're doing. And control is a tricky word, right? We're not talking about controlling people and other situations. That's one of the things we have to let go of. We're talking about mastering our own inner world, what we think, what we believe, what we do, the burdens of the beliefs and the emotional patterns that we carry around with us that determine how we react, what we choose, what we decide. We are all ready and we're all craving, not the best state to be in, but we're craving that freedom of individual spiritual truth. We're craving the desire to truly not just think, maybe I'm the creator of my reality and one day I'll be able to figure out how to do it, but to actually do it, to actually be able to move through your day knowing that you're on the right path and you don't know how it's going to unfold and you don't know when it's going to unfold, but you're not upset about it. You're not grumpy about it or frustrated or worried or stressed. And we can carry this stress at many different layers and it affects your prosperity. So we're going to talk about what prosperity is in a second, but in general, everybody wants to prosper. It's your nature, your divine nature. It's the nature of this plant to prosper. It's the nature of everything born into a form because you come in with an inspiration. You are the definition of inspiration, of intention, of the divine. And that divine energy that we decide to become and we design by bringing all of these energies with us, this is what we emit, project, put into the world every day. So if you go to energy and you just say, energy is everything, and I create my own energy, not just by what I'm thinking in this moment, because your conscious mind is this big and your subconscious mind is as big as the planet, okay? So, sorry about the lighting. I'm trying to get a little less of that dip, darkness going on. But the really fun part is that as you become more and more aware that you really are what is creating the reality that you are experiencing, it doesn't mean when you learn to manifest, when you're aligned with what you think will make you happy, everyone and everything else changes to please you. So this is one of the first really big keys to manifesting your prosperity through intuition versus through fear, force, and the past of those negative beliefs. That's what we've been taught. That's what the whole planet is programmed with. It's the condition. It's the experience that we've been going through here. It just is what it is. So a huge burden that you might be carrying, and please be aware of this. The next thing is that if you're carrying around a lot of judgment, a lot of beliefs that are low energy, low conscious, what does that mean? It means you're carrying beliefs that they're bad and wrong and you're right, or somebody has taken something from you, or you can't have something. You're trapped by your circumstance, your health, your body, your money, your perceived challenges. And it also doesn't mean that when you begin to manifest aligned with your truth and your purpose and who you are, and you feel great, and you are aligned so that you allow yourself to be in the moment, trusting, watching, enjoying what's there and watching what's next to lead you to what's next. Instead of living that way, we've all been taught to chase things, to chase promotions and chase money and chase status. And, even if you think, oh, I don't care about all that, I'm telling you, those beliefs are still in there. They may not be the ones you had 10 or 20 years ago, thank goodness, right? We've all progressed. However, we're at the moment of the deepest discovery. The deepest core patterns are what are being uncovered now. And in my soul readings and in my sessions, and even in the classes, people are discovering, one client described it as she's been digging for 30 years on my path, doing this, learning that, trying that, becoming more me and more spiritual and all of these things. And yet she's also aware, I feel like I've been doing this forever. Why am I not somewhere else? Why isn't this different than what I thought? So when you have that, you have an ego want and you have a heart desire. And those are things you have to begin to decipher. Then you find these deeper things. So she said, now it was like in the session we did, uncovering these big boulders that were buried so deep in her subconscious, so deep in her fear, so deep in her pattern, so deep in her conditioning. That's mental, that's emotional, that's in your cells. You bring it from your soul or your other lives, your past lives, or whatever you want to call them. All these parts of you have certain things, and you chose to have a deep connection with the ones that have similar patterns of fear and limitation, as well as skills, powers, and wisdom. So this is the time of becoming whole, of unity. Isn't about all of us singing on a mountain holding hands. It's about us becoming unified with our inner self. So now you go down and you say, oh, what's really underneath there? Am I carrying more stress? I'm so much better than I used to be that it's almost imperceptible. And then you go to the next level and the next level. So whatever level you're at is perfect. And if you don't judge where you are and you stay more present in the moment and you say, oh, we're doing regret today. I'm feeling very low energy today. What's this about? Yesterday, I had another day. We happen to be in Mercury Retrograde right now. Also, there's a lot of other planets that are in retrograde. Basically, what that means, I'm not an astrologer, is that it looks to us like a planet is going backwards. It isn't actually going backwards. However, the energy affects us in a way that we feel like instead of progressing, we're regressing or we're not moving forward. So the opportunity with any of these is to say, what if that was like the rest period where you went, oh, okay, I've been doing. Now it's time for me to reflect, to review, to rethink, to release, to, okay, so retrograde, everything. So what a perfect time to remember that you have so much more that is ready to come forward, and you do manifest your reality by how you think, how you feel, how often. So we grew up in a world where people couldn't read thoughts and energy very well, but that's changed already and is changing very quickly. And if you're here, you know that. You can sense what people think. You can sense many currents going on in different people, places. I don't know why that person was really pleasant, but I don't feel like I trust them. Or I don't know why this, but I really like that. I feel drawn to that. Why is that? These are the intuitive communications that are here becoming more and more obvious for everyone. That's why I'm doing the Intuition Awakening and the Intuition Accelerator. And in a couple weeks, we're going to do the one-day retreat called Intuitive Manifesting. And it's going to be a 5 hours where we get together and we go step by step through manifesting what it is that is optimal for you. And that would be what your heart desires. And there's layers to how to manifest. So it's going to be a step-by-step process that you can repeat anytime, and you can strengthen each one of those steps as you become more and more aware of who you are and where you're going. So you're on a path, and prosperity, to prosper, means to grow. All right, so today we're talking manifesting prosperity through intuition versus what? The way we've been doing it, through fear, manipulation, working, trying to please everyone else, chasing things we thought we had to be. The fact of the matter is maybe you could multitask like crazy. I can, and I did. Was it good for me? Very rarely, right? It drained me, it stressed me more than it should. That's just a tiny example of the type of things we do. If we live in fear every day of speaking up, or frustrated that we don't have the relationship we want, or in fear of a relationship we have, or wanting more harmony in a relationship, or feeling trapped by a relationship. Now replace the word relationship with money. Do you feel trapped by money? Are you afraid of money? Are you in a relationship that's stressful with money? All right. Now replace that with self-esteem or self-love. You know, what is that relationship? What is the energy that you are being based on your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and the other programs in your energy field, your light body, your aura, your physical body, and so on, your many, 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 many dimensions of who you are. So all of these get together and they send a frequency out, and that is your personal radio frequency or cell phone number, right? And as you emit this, it goes into the Akasha, this infinite field of energy of which everything is created out of. And this is super simple so that you just get the mechanics of it, so to speak, it goes into that, and that absorbs who you are and your intentions and your thoughts. And it's all based on frequency. So if 80% of the time you're in fear, anger, frustration, you feel guilt, you're judging, you don't feel good enough, whatever it is, and 20% of the time you're relaxed and calm and generally happy, all right? Those come together. Well, the 20% is going to take is going to help, but it's not going to tip the scales. So then everything you're experiencing is coming through this filter of what you've projected into the field. So it comes through your movie screen into your life as a person, a relationship, somebody who pays you, somebody who doesn't pay you, and so on and so forth. The situations and everything in your life, then it accumulates over time. So the longer you're in a fearful state, not feeling good enough, the more dense, right? The more impacted, the more habitual those feelings and energies become, the stronger they are at projecting into your field, drawing more into what you experience, okay? So this is partially law of attraction. People have learned about this through. It's partially through intention, right? But the bigger picture is just look at the mechanics, because a lot of the ways we learned those tools and techniques, we ended up feeling bad or not good enough or trying something and then it didn't work. So unlike, I hated this. I hated this so much when I finally gave in and surrendered to the idea that every day, little by little, every day, little by little, who I was being, what I was doing. Was I meditating every day? Was I working out every day? Was I paying attention to my thoughts or my words? Or where was my energy on the scale of consciousness every day? Did I do my daily routine that day? Did I cleanse my light body that day? Did I, all of those things every day. Don't just project into what you experience that day, but accumulate to make that more and more and more and more of your reality. And you then see less and less and less possibilities that are outside of the reality you've been living. So when you leave your family's home, you've been living in an environment of very close programming. Maybe it was positive, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was a little of both, like most people. But the idea is that in that environment, you were constantly being reinforced a certain way of thinking or being. And then a lot of people during the pandemic went to live together with family. Some people, you had to spend a lot more times at home with your spouse or your kids, or maybe you went to live with your parents because they were elderly and needed help, or different versions of that, right? Sometimes people were living with friends or exes. And when you live with somebody, you are in their energy field all the time. Both of your energies are creating the environment and the energy in your house. So if you have clutter in your house, the biggest reason to clean it up is it holds that energy. It gives you more chaotic, cluttered energy that holds the energy of that relationship. If you have, different pains or strains, there's a lot of things that can happen in life. One of my clients has changed jobs, and there's a lot of things are going on. She's been working with me for a year now, and last year she did this in-depth thing around money and your family programs, and over 8 weeks we go through a process of getting into what are those core energies within you that are manifesting the money and success and self-esteem in your life. Those are the 3 top areas that affect what you are able to manifest. So manifest means to appear to your eyes, to appear before your eyes. That means you take it from you weren't even thinking of it, to an idea, to a thing that's here that you're sitting in. So you're not even thinking about ever buying a house. Suddenly you decide, I think I'd like to buy a house. Could I buy a house? And you go along the scale of it becoming a reality because you look into a loan and you go look at houses and you do these different things and you think about it. What would I want and how would I want it? And this is how you build. This is how you manifest. And then pretty soon, maybe 10 years, maybe 2 months, I don't know, right? You find yourself in a home or building a home, which you actually then see it manifest step by step before your eyes, which is happening a lot at our house here. And that way of manifesting, we understand that we rarely think about how we're the ones that inspired it, intended it, and then followed up. And it's a moment by moment, day by day process of, if you are in touch with your inner self, if you're giving yourself time alone, if you are doing your spiritual or personal work, meditating, writing, journaling, doing activations like I create in the shop, or just doing that inner work where you're accepting a part of you if you're feeling frustrated or full of grief. I've had 2 days, I was saying, since Mercury Retrograde started a little over a week ago, where I was completely encompassed in emotional energy that is not the norm for me anymore. But I know better than to get mad about it, judge myself that it's there, feel like I did something wrong, which is what I used to do and most people do. And I know to accept it. So I just sit in it, but not to take it on, not to sit and think it over and over. If my mind is spinning with it, then I do a lot of energy work. I do light body cleanses, and I do other forms of work. A violet flame cleanse is a really simple, great one that's in the shop. I do these things daily, but I do a lot of them so that I know I'm not attaching to the energy that's coming up. But I want to respect myself and understand that there's parts of me that are trying to guide me the best they can, while if I'm over here in fear or trying to make it happen, I'm not hearing them. This is one of the reasons you need that still time, that rest time, and not the guilt around, oh, I'm taking away from serving the whole world every second of my life. You just can't, right? So you take that time, you receive more guidance, you start to receive more and more and more guidance around one thing until you finally listen, or you've learned that you want to listen to your intuition. So you're thinking of how to make this thing happen that you received guidance on, but you're not sure from the moment. So you're watching and thinking and inspiring and researching and just being open to all the ways that things come into you. Sometimes you manifest instantly. Everything you've done along the way, you suddenly end up at a lunch with somebody who offers you a job you never thought you'd want, but turns out to be the perfect thing for you. This happened to one of my clients recently. It's happened to me finding clients, just being somewhere. Well, what led to me being there? Everything I thought every day, this energy I was emitting. So you are like Pigpen in Charlie Brown. Pigpen was this little character who always had this cloud of dust around him because he was dirty. And energetically, that's not inaccurate, because if you're carrying that energy around just because you've lived in a world up till now that people can't read your thoughts, the reality is everybody is starting to do that. And it's just going to keep accelerating because we're re-accessing the truth of who we are. We're intuitive beings, and we have denied, we've beaten, we've burned at the stake. We've done everything we can on the planet for millennium now to beat down the feminine, to take away the intuitive power, the direct connection to source, the access to that full creative power. We need both sides. Duality needs to happen for us to manifest into form. However, it starts in the subtle realms, all the realms that you don't see and touch with your hands and your eyes. Those are the more powerful realms, and there's a lot of them, and those are the ones that are filled with what you need in order to manifest and step into and accept and enjoy the life that you want. So when you want to manifest prosperity, you're simply asking to align with the truth of who you are. You're simply asking, I'm ready and willing to align with the infinite field, to remember that I'm a multidimensional infinite being with a divine purpose and a plan, and I was designed this way on purpose, from fears and limitations all the way to skills and strengths. And I don't hardly know who I am yet. That's one of my favorite things that clients have been saying this year is, this is amazing. I feel like I'm meeting myself for the first time. I feel like I've excavated myself, or I'm discovering who I really am. So when you want to manifest, you could be in a desperate state. You want to look at the scale. Again, that's in the shop. It's free. And there's several new free goodies there as well. I was asked on a recent summit I was speaking on to give some of the phrases that I teach that align you, because the words you use are so powerful for manifesting, for peace, for everything. Because you're constantly telling yourself what you want. And when you're saying, I can't do that, I can't do that, I'm trapped, there really is no way out, I have no way out, you're telling those parts of you that are listening, that's the truth, that's the truth, that's the truth, that's the truth. So that part of you is going to go, okay, 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 keep bringing in, this is the energy you're putting into the Akashic field around you. Now, if you imagine this little cloud around you being like Pigpen and full of negative thoughts, fearful thoughts, all those low scale, low states on the scale, guilt, shame, blame, regret, depression, anger, craving or addiction, those are the main ones. Those are force states. That means you have to force everything to happen. And you just don't need to do that anymore. You are rising now, without even doing anything. Everybody is rising to a new level of consciousness. Now, we're seeing a lot of polarity, aren't we? We're seeing people get more polarized and more polarized and more polarized. And just when you think it can't get more polarized, it polarizes again, right? And you've got people just going completely into the medieval times, like in Texas, all the way to people who are coming up with super enlightened ideas for everything from hunger, world hunger, and water problems and poverty and so on. So if you get caught up in being obsessed with the people who are doing the fearful, negative, painful things on the planet, forcing, judging, if there's forcement, if there's judgment, if there's guilt, if there's shame, if there's humiliation, Any form of that, that's the energy inside of it. So you want to watch out from it. And why do you want to think about it? Why do you want to know about it? Why do you want to spend your time absorbed by it? Because guess what? You're eating it and then you're pooping it into your field, and you're eating it and you're pooping it into your field. So what goes in your mind, what goes in your ears, what goes in your thoughts, what the people you're around, the kind of stress you're around. I mean, if you're around people who argue all the time, I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't do that for 5 seconds. I had we were renting a house down the beach a little over a year ago, I guess. Before my near-death thing. And somebody rented the house next to us, and there was a group of Americans, and they landed, and were in the Yucatan in Mexico, and they moved in, and we were sitting in our little palapa on the beach, and he comes out and he sees us and he just beelines for us. And I'm actually a very private person. I'm extremely private. I like my space. I like my privacy. I like to be prepared for energy to enter my field. I watched him coming toward me, and I started doing a bunch of energy work because I could already see his aura. I could see his energy. And he's one of these people who just comes over, hey, how you doing? I got to tell you all my problems. Guess what happened? I did this, and then I tried to rent a car, and then I had this problem and that problem and this problem. This person did this and that person did this. Doesn't even know me. Hasn't spent 2 seconds saying, hi, who are you? Why are you here? Or anything. And they just start throwing up all of their stupid, pukey, dumb, pointless energy. Why? You don't want to be this way, right? You don't want to be so absorbed in every little detail that didn't go the way you wanted to, that you have to talk about it, think about it, and puke it on other people. Because you know what? You're poisoning yourself. You're putting it into your own field, and it's bringing people. So, of course, my first thought was, what did I do to attract that? But it was great because I immediately stood up. And I started picking my things up, and I started to exit the palapa because I knew there was no way I wanted to be around that energy. Now, you might have all kinds of thoughts and conditioning going off in your head. How rude. That's not nice. You should be polite. I agree with being polite. I agree with being kind. I don't agree with telling anybody else what they should do. It's not my place to tell him, dude, you need to become more aware. You're carrying around negative energy. You're throwing it on people who don't want it. Everything is going sideways just in your 2 hours in Mexico because of you and who you are being and what you think and your attitudes. You can't tell people that. They got to find that shit themselves, right? People come to me, great. Let's go. Let's dig. Let's find it. Let's love you up. Let's transform those. Let's find those patterns and give you the power to manifest because you're prospering, not because you're dragging burdensome energies of guilt, shame, blame, energy, anger, and depression around, not because you're full of frustration, not because you feel less than. All those energies are infecting you. They're going to continue to attract more situations into your life like that. Now, don't go into a bunch of guilt and blame and anger. Oh, that's not fair, blah, 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 because guess what? You just dragged yourself down the scale again. So the reason I stood up was I wanted to make it clear that I was already on my way out of there. Oh, we were just going in. And he's blah, 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 and I'm like, whoo, 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 I can see it pouring on me, and I'm pushing my energy field and shielding it and letting go of it. I'm not getting attached to it, and it's really important that I didn't get emotional about it. As soon as I would get angry, this man's coming into my field, guess what? I'm going to attract more of his stuff. I'm going to let more of it into me, and then it's going to poison me, and I'm going to carry it around, and I'm going to put it in my field, and now that's going to cut my flow of prosperity because that's not prosperous. Going down in energy, restricted in energy, feeling less than, believing less than, buying into people's stories of negativity and then thinking about it, this person should have done that, that's not fair, this is happening, and on and on and on. You know, you could spend many, 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 many millions of lifetimes absorbed in everything that's not the way it should be. Okay, is that really why you're here? No, you're not here to change everything. You're here to be who you are because you have a unique energy. And only you can do that when you dig yourself out of the programs and the energies that are within you, aware of them or not, that are causing these things to be in your life. So when I said, come on, Chris, we have to go. If we're going to do that thing, we got to do it. And it was actually true. We had to get in the water before the wind got up or he wouldn't be able to be outside. So, however, I didn't explain that to the guy because I've learned I don't validate myself. I don't explain myself. I am very polite. I am very nice. And I also take a stand for my energy. I stood up and I was backing away as he's talking. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's common. Oh, okay, well, good. Well, I tried 3 times to change. Says, isn't it beautiful here? Aren't you glad you rented? Didn't say a word about it. And I finally said, we have to go. And then he left. And every time that he looked my way for the week or so he was there, I would make sure I was looking the other way and I just went by and did my thing. I didn't think about him. I didn't get obsessed by him. I didn't let him affect me. However, I took a stand for it. That's what I call doing a Jerry Hicks. We used to do an Abraham Hicks study group with Esther's daughter, if you're familiar with them, and her husband, who's passed to a different realm now, Jerry. He was committed to his energy. And she said growing up with him was weird because he'd stand up in a Thanksgiving dinner when everybody's doing whatever families do and just leave the room. He never lectured people. He never said, let's change the topic. He never told anybody why he was leaving. It was just the most important to him was to find the energy he wanted to live in that day and to maintain it with everything within his power. And it was a long road for me to go to where I realized I have to take a stand for my energy. I have to say, I need time alone. I can't be with everybody else every second of the day. I can't serve everyone else. I can't put myself last anymore. I can't keep thinking I'm not good enough. I can't keep thinking I have to overachieve. I can't keep thinking I'm going to lose it. I'm going to blow it. I can't keep allowing, I don't watch the news, and I haven't for a long time. And I know people who watch it all the time, and their whole life is just, just adrenal fatigue and stress response over stress response of people talking about stuff they don't even know if it's true. And that's what the other thing you have to unplug. When you're listening within, you manifest prosperous energies. Prosperous energies grow. They grow in the direction that's optimal for you. You don't need to know a million other things. There's so many things happening right now on the planet and off the planet, and you don't need to know them. What is it you need to know? You need to listen inside. Today, I'm just resting. Yesterday, I was like, I had been swimming every morning and doing this and doing that and creativity and feeling really great. And yesterday, I woke up tired. I woke up feeling some of those those deep emotions. This happened a week ago when Mercury Retrograde started. Whoa, it just brought it up during the night. I couldn't sleep the whole night. And it was poking every little fear and stress that it was still carrying. And there's not a lot of it. It's really deep because I don't live that way daily. And so instead of feeling upset or frustrated that it was there, I was like, oh, this is what we're doing right now. Okay, acceptance. That's the part of the scale you want to live in. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, this is feeling like this. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to rest. I'm just going to sit and watch a movie. I'm going to, have a mug of cacao and watch the waves. I didn't force myself by saying, well, I need to go swimming because I've swam every day for XYZ. My mind, part of it said, oh, I was going to swim today. I guess this is what's optimal for me today. What happens when you start to live your life as much as possible, because I know that there's people who do have agendas and stuff, in this kind of flow, then you will be prospered. You will come through that day of feeling a lot of deep emotions by allowing it to process, to compost, to digest, to transform, to release, and to renew. And you'll come through it quicker, and you'll come through it higher on the scale. You'll come through it with more empowerment, and you will have allowed some of that dirty pig pen energy that's in the field around you that you've emitted before to be absorbed and transformed. Gaia loves to take toxins, and your emotional toxins included, and heal them, transform them, because they're just energy. Right? So we want to transform the energy that's within us that we project so that the energy around us that's bringing us what's creating our reality is aligned with what is optimal for us. And we have a lot of wants and desires that are not based on what is truly optimal. So when you say, I thought I was meant to do this and I went to do this and it didn't happen, you have to remember, okay, what was that inspiration? Instead of judging yourself or feeling mad at God or something, you want to go, all right, I came this way. Now I'm here. Well, from here, where have I gone? What have I benefited? What have I learned? What's next? You can always make another decision. But if you stay in the moment, you'll notice more quickly, oh, I'm processing this. And we had to leave the house for several days. They turned the power off. They were doing really, really noisy stonework and stuff. So we left and went to a nearby marina, and we sat for 6 hours or something, having coffee and lunch and just looking at the trees and the clouds go by. I had a notebook. I didn't bring a computer because I went, oh, today, instead of pushing my agenda, this is what's supposed to happen today. Well, I'll be here present to see what comes up. And the energy that you receive, that you're nurtured with, is going to make you stronger. You're going to trust more. So the path you're really on is revealing who you truly are so that you manifest through an intuitive flow that blends with who you are, remembers the truth of what is optimal for you, where you're moving to, who you were designed to be, or the life your soul intended, I usually say. And then the action appears, like, oh, there's somebody to talk to, or here's somewhere to go, or I need to go on this retreat, or I need to do this meditation, or I need to come to the intuitive manifesting retreat in 2 weeks because it's only $99 right now. It's like half price, and it's yours forever. So I highly, highly recommend it. And whatever it is, you know, in that moment, there's a resource, there's a solution. But you can't know all the solutions. So if you sit in your head trying to figure it out and trying to go over the past to figure out where you were wrong or what you could have done different, you're wasting your energy and your time, and you're holding on to those lower energies. So manifesting prosperity is really aligning with your true infinite self. And the true infinite self already has pathways to communicate, already has a connection to your body, to your cells, to your other lives, to your higher self, to your soul blueprint, to nature spirits, to animal guides. These are all different forms of energy taking different forms, that as it manifests within you, your thoughts go to it, your emotions go to it. It becomes, you become obsessed with it. If you're a creative type, you maybe became obsessed with building a house or doing a painting or sewing a dress or finding a certain style chair and searching everywhere high and low for it, or finding someone to make it for you. Those are ways of manifesting because you get inspired, you get consumed. There was a book that called it Your Magnificent Obsession. And what that means is that not obsession over the past or the negativity or why isn't this or why can't that person, but obsession with the inspiration. So prosperity, I want you to start to think about it as a very different thing. Prosperity is your natural state. You're here to grow. You're here to prosper. When you see a prosperous plant, it keeps growing, it has green leaves, it gets flowers and fruit if that's what it's designed to do. This one isn't. The palm trees outside make coconuts nonstop. You've never seen so many coconuts. Oh my goodness, just nonstop. Coconuts, it's amazing. And all these tiny little flowers constantly budding. They're all potential coconuts. And that manifestation isn't through trying to be the tree next door, different kind of tree, and it isn't manifested through being upset that 2 years ago it didn't like what it did, or feeling like that it's trapped, or any of those other things. None of them are true. I know they feel heavy. I know that carrying all these things, I've been through all of this, and I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. You just get higher on the scale. You become more light or enlightened, meaning you spend more of your time in the power states of courage, willingness, neutrality, acceptance, harmony, love, reason, peace, joy, abundance. Those states aren't where you want to go and stay. They're places you enjoy more often. You have more inner peace because you know that you will be inspired, and you are working on your intuitive self, and you're listening more, and you're creating more time. We've been taught to give everything to everyone else to such a degree that we are filled with so much guilt and self-judgment when we say, I'm going to take time off, or I'm going to take time for myself. I cannot tell you how many hundreds of clients or potential clients that I've met over the years, decades, that, oh, I can't do that. Why? Well, because I have a job. Well, take time off. Well, I can't because of this reason. Or take sick leave. No, I can't because of X, Y, Z. I have to. I made an agreement. I told my friend I would help her move. I said I would do this. I'm not telling you to not have integrity, but integrity is within you. You have to be in integrity with what's optimal for you. So if you've over-obligated yourself and everybody's used to you fixing them and being a certain person and doing all this stuff that stresses you out and keeps you out of alignment with your truth, with you listening to your intuition and learning who you are and following your inner path, becomes a magical, miraculous life. It actually does. Because there's this delight every day that you know within that there's all of these loving parts of you and even more that are there to assist you. So it's being willing to not know. It's being willing to not be attached to what everyone else thinks. And here's a question you can ask yourself. So pick whatever it is. Usually money is a really good trigger for people, so that's a great one to really reveal underlying patterns that are keeping you from manifesting prosperity. You're manifesting every day, by the way. You're an excellent creator, you're a manifester, and you're manifesting your reality right now and in every second. You do it by all the energies, known and unknown to you, conscious and subconscious, that are emitting a particular frequency. So if you carry a lot of guilt and shame about not being good enough or having been a failure or afraid that you won't have enough, I did a lot of that for a long time. Even if I'm not thinking about it every day, I'm carrying it in another part of my body, in a chakra, or in my sacral, or in my cells, or in my mind and my thoughts, or in my emotional field. There, you're bringing that with you. And remember what I said, it's part of the pie. It's making up the 100%. And you might be over here being more positive, but feeling frustrated because you're dragging the other part with you. So when you want to manifest something that is very intensely emotional and you feel a craving for it, you are going to encounter your biggest fears. That's just the pathway to it, okay? Sometimes things can fall apart so intently that you can jump, boo, and go over everything. But typically you go through it. How fast you go through it is up to you. Do you want to spend 5 lifetimes or 5 years or 5 months or 5 days or 5 hours or 5 minutes or 5 seconds processing that? It's up to you. The more you accept it, the more you go, oh, here I am. It took a day for me to process, but now I'm feeling more powered. I don't feel the pull of that energy. So you want to manifest something and you keep telling yourself you can't. So let's take this because it's relevant, because I'm inviting you to come to the Intuitive Manifesting Retreat. It's a 1-day online retreat. I'm also beginning putting the pieces together of the March in-person retreat, the Mayan Magic Retreat. We'll go to pyramids and do all kinds of awesome, yummy stuff with chocolate cacao ceremonies and everything. And so let's say that one of these, or doing a soul reading with me, or doing the Intuition Awakening course, or something that I do, you would like to do it. Let's say you feel, oh, I'm drawn to that. And what's the first thought that comes up? So pick something. If it's not anything that I'm offering, pick something else for this exercise and write it down, okay? Or really think about it. So pick something that you would like and you don't think, there's a barrier to it, but just put it down. I want that. Okay, so I'm just going to use the 1-day retreat coming up on October 16th. Okay, so I would like to go to Nana Kasha's Intuitive Manifesting 1-day retreat on October 16th, 2021. I'm ready and willing. I'm open and receptive to the optimal path to manifest this, if it is what is optimal for me at this time. And I'm open and receptive, and I'm an excellent receiver to the path for that to open up. Now, if you wrote that all down, if you didn't get it, it's okay. It'll be on the recording. If you focus your attention on that, think about the words. That's why when you go to the shop, look for the 2 new posters or declarations or statements or something they're called, because they use those words and they show you how. When you want to be clear about what you want to manifest in your life, the words you use are really important. So I would like to manifest this retreat. I would like to manifest the March retreat. So the March retreat is much more money than the one-day retreat. Or pick something else that's a big deal to you. I highly recommend something that money's involved in. Unless you absolutely don't want to, then don't. But it's such a great way of seeing. It's like X-ray glasses, you know. So, okay, now you're going to write down. I'm going to be quiet for a minute. You're going to think about it. You're going to read that statement to yourself. You're going to affirm that to yourself. And then you're going to be quiet and you're going to listen. I want you to go to the center of your being and watch. Like you're watching this whole universe that is you. What's going to pop up now that I made this declaration? Your fears, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, memories, just watch it. Because those parts of you that were told, never let me have a lot of money again because somebody killed me for it, or never let me, do this because my parents won't approve of it. Don't let me speak up because I was burned at the stake. Whatever it is, those are those different things in you. They're going to come up. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment while you allow those to come up and you are open and receptive to receive them. You're just watching them. Okay, so that's an exercise you can play with after we're done anytime you want. And I can tell you what, it could have gone on and on. I'll tell you what I was experiencing. I can see it and feel it in the body, in you or in me. And this is what I saw for several people, as well as some of this was me. So I'm just going to tell you the different things that I saw and felt so you can start to pay attention. So the obvious ones first came up. There's no time. There's no money. I'll be exhausted if I do that because it's going to take a lot of extra work. Not right now because of my kids, because of my job, because of this, because of that, whatever. Okay? There was a lot of guilt, humiliation, and shame in the neck and shoulders. I experienced some, but I saw it in a lot of people too. It was holding the neck very stiff. It was burdening the shoulders right in here. It was less than what I normally see. So, but it's dense, very intense energies. Those are the lowest energies, that humiliation and shame. Fear of failure, not wanting to fail, not wanting to be disappointed, not wanting to look stupid. There's a big one right here across someone's forehead. Looks like a beret. Looks like when you go like this, yes sir, you salute. And I'm not putting anything down. There is no judgment about anything that you might have been a part of or believe in. But the programming intentionally for military and those types of institutions, they require absolute obeyance, right? You have to do what they want, think what they want, act the way they want. That's a requirement of being a part of their organization. So this is giving your power away. You're taking your third eye, you're taking your crown, you're taking this important center, you're blocking it, you're crossing it, and you're giving it to somebody. You're also, there's this angle I'm seeing here is institutional limits, beliefs, very emotionally intense. So boot camps are not designed for lovey-doveyness, are they? They're in to break you down and rebuild you in a short amount of time. So maybe you go to a weight loss boot camp, It's intense. You work out a lot. You do this a lot. You eat 1 carrot a day, right? It's intensified. And that intensification is a reprogramming of a belief, of a condition, of a habit, of a way of being. Well, think about that. You could do that if you go there. You could do that for yourself, for manifesting too, right? And so there's a lot here, a lot of limits. This flat energy are put here. You aren't to connect here to infinite source. You're to connect here to me. Do what I say, do what I think. Now, we have family patterns that way. We have church patterns that way. We have school patterns that way. We have education patterns that way. We have communities, genders. There's all different forms of people that gather together to create a certain environment intentionally. And you join if you feel at the time it's good for you, right? And sometimes it's not, or sometimes it loses its power for you after time. You outgrow it. You're not in kindergarten anymore, right? Well, it's the same thing with a lot of the spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs or institutional beliefs, or this constantly having to worry about powers outside of you or what other people think or that. Now is the time of reclaiming unity for yourself, bringing all of you back into you. So that's one of the beauties about intentionally manifesting, is that you get to meet your barriers, your fears, and your limits more quickly and in a way that you're prepared to dissolve and change them. That's part of the intention. In the Intuition Awakening, it's been stunning. You can still join Intuition Awakening. The live practice calls are going through the end of the year, and then we're going to take a break. But the course itself is always there, always available. And what we saw was the most powerful, amazing transformations. It was just nonstop, people just pouring like, oh my gosh, I've never heard voices, or I never knew this, but it was in ways you'd never expect, like more inner ease, or less stress, less judgment of yourself. Oh, that didn't go right. I planned it, but it didn't work out. And then that ease led to more enjoyment in the moment, which led to more communication, which led to more realizations, which led to more solutions, which led to more energy, which led to more openness, to more opportunities. And it becomes a cycle of positivity. All right. So we've been through today talking about what's prosperity. It's not just money. Okay. Prosperity is a state. It's a beautiful state. The state of abundance mentally is at the state of joy, happiness in the emotional field. And that's a very high state. It's a very powerful state. We all crave it. We all love it. We all have enjoyed it when we've been there and enjoy it when we are there. However, it's very rare for people to maintain that every minute of the day, right? And so your ability to understand there's a lot of energies here, but all of the energies that I'm designed with, that are the truth, that are optimal for me, are for prosperity. For me to prosper, that means I get what I need. I get nourished mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I get nourished financially. I get nourished energetically. I get nourished by the environment, by the plants, by being where is optimal for me. But we've been taught to give that up, to set aside what you want. That makes you a greedy person. You have to give to everyone else first. Well, the opposite is true. If you don't nourish yourself, let go of the burdens you're carrying, start manifesting and get into your prosperous flow. This is all achieved through your intuitive pathways. It cannot be achieved by figuring it out, analyzing it, or working extra hours. Those things come in at the appropriate moment, but they are not the only way to do things. You do not need to wait for someone else's approval to have what you want, be who you want, act how you want, make your hair pink, whatever it is, okay? Those are all beliefs that limit you. It's easy to get caught up in the frustration, because when you're at a lower state, you can't see joy, harmony, peace, and love. It seems like something that would be nice, but maybe it's for other people. Or maybe I get it, but I don't get to keep it. Or maybe I haven't worked hard enough, and I'm not thin enough, and I'm not whatever enough. All of those things, none of them are true. The truth of who you are is that you are abundant, prosperous, you're infinite. You're connected to the infinite field. in my courses, and you learn to connect heart to heart to the infinite field until you feel you are one with it. Before this, I was swimming in the ocean for about 2 hours, and I heart to heart weave with the ocean and with Gaia and with the dolphins and with the meteor out here, the one that landed and killed the dinosaurs, that's out here in the ocean. To the ancient Maya and the pyramids and the caves, and to the jaguar and to the sun and to the celestials and to the clouds. And I connect to the infinite life forces around me in a harmonious way because I am one with all of this energy. That makes me feel prosperous because look at the life force everywhere. I see new fish and birds and interesting things, and we've got iguanas living in the yard, and I love this. I love the diversity of how manifesting can take shape. Your life could look completely different in one day, in 1 month, in 1 year. You have no concept of how quickly you can accelerate transformation and manifestation right now because of the global reality that's happening. The metamorphosis means breakdown, transmutation, reform, reformation, and renewal, being born into something new. This is who you are. So manifesting prosperity is your nature. You're here on a fully funded mission. You're designed this way. When you remember that, when you do activations and daily routines and energy weaving and all these different things I teach, when you do things that support you, you have more to give. You create a more prosperous environment, and that akasha around you stops looking like Pigpen, right? Like a cloud of dirt, and starts to become potential, fluffy white clouds of infinite potential, and it reflects back to you. I love my life. Thank you for this. More of this, please. I died last year. Chris died a couple of years ago. My daughter died a while ago, and on and on and on. Lost a lot of money, made a lot of money, and all those stories, and you've had them, and I've had them, and everyone has them. We were never given the truth that we have within us, not just the power, like power to do it. The power, the infinite flow, never-ending flow, to come to us, and we transform it into what is the optimal food or house or clothes or thoughts or relationships or reality. We get to choose, and a big portion of us is choosing from limitation and fear, from lack. Unplug, 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 unplug. Please unplug. Unplug from the drama and the fear. There's so much information out there now. There's no way anyone will ever have the one truth. Okay? So you want to be careful what you listen to and what you decide is true, because that is what's creating your reality. And you're not handing your power over to your positive thinking either. You're staying present in the moment, because moment by moment, you'll learn more, you'll see more, the truth will evolve. You understand this truth, a new one opens. All right? This is not you standing on the precipice and seeing everything laid out in front of you. This is you moving through a spiral that is constantly ascending. And in that moment, you see what you're in, and you remember what you've been, and you see what's opening for you. And then you move into that next level of the spiral, and the rest becomes behind you or below you or transmutes, and you're ready for the next, and you're ready for the next. This is how life is. So don't allow the egoic fears and pain of lack and not enoughness to control you, because that is not manifesting through manifesting prosperity. That is manifesting limitation. So when you manifest your business, I highly recommend you get a cleanse, you do some inner work, you do some deep work, because the energy you bring into a job or a business or anything you do with money is going to infect that money, that energy. And as you're in it, the more you cleanse, maybe what you started it with will cleanse away, and you can become, but you can manifest through trust. You can manifest through infinite possibilities, and it requires that inner release of who you thought you needed to be and pleasing everyone else, which is difficult. I've been there. Oh, never thought I would get rid of that one. All right, so I do hope that you will join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a quick peek. I'll show you some of the fun things we're going to do. And here's the shop, and it's this intuitive manifesting here. And what we're going to do is spend 5 hours together on Saturday, October 16th. And what's going to happen is we're going to go through 5 steps. So if you go here, you can click on this, you'll see the special price and everything. And this is not going to be theory. We're going to be using experiential processes, understanding new techniques. I touched on some of it today, little parts of what you're going to learn to understand, so that no matter what you want to manifest, you can go through this process over and over and over. So step 1, discovering what you want to manifest. And how do we do this? Because is that my ego want? Is this a fear want? Is this something I want because that person wants it? Or is this truly what my heart and soul is designed for? Then uncovering and transforming the blocks to manifesting it, like you saw today, like we discussed, the fears and all of that. It's a key step in manifesting. You can't just go, I'm going to manifest this and I'm going to work really hard and then I'm going to fall apart. I used to think if I just work really hard for a short amount of time, I can make it happen. It's a daily process of discovering what you want, deciding you want it, allowing it, accepting it, looking for the blocks to it. Then the next step is the manifesting process, where we're going to do an inner guidance of connecting you and weaving you with the outer resources, with those resources behind that wall, so the doors open just for you, which they do. Very powerful. Each step you can repeat anytime you want. I need to go back to what I really want and clarify that. I'll repeat that process. I need to go back to discovering and dissolving those blocks, okay? And then the intuitive manifesting process, which is where we're going to put it together. This is your ultimate manifesting process. You're going to also have on video and audio to repeat. And this is where you take all those things, what you want, what you cleared away, right? And you've woven into the resources, and you get to go into the sensorial experience, and it's going to bring you the guidance and the connection. You're going to meet guides that are there for you. You're going to have realized skills that you have. You're going to, the amount of things that you get to experience in this is not a dry experience. This is a getting to know the true you. This is tapping into your multidimensionality. This is power. Okay, so all of these things we're going to do, and we're going to have an amazing and exciting time. I hope you'll join me. Again, that's at shop.nanakasha.com. It's called Intuitive Manifesting. And I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Please tell other people about what we did today. Please repeat it. And this would be a good one to write down some of what we discussed today, to really re-emphasize the power of these little things. It's taken me decades of deep pain and deep transformation and searching and mystery schools and becoming a homeopathic doctor and becoming this healer and that healer and working with people and all these different things to find these, what's underneath it. So I want to bring you the easiest, most fun, most direct way to manifest what you want and to get into the prosperous flow of the truth of who you are. Prosperity isn't something that you get because someone gives you permission, or you get because you worked hard enough, or you get because you got first prize. It's when you align with the truth of who you are, and then it's fun too. And then I'll tell you what your next problem will be. I wasn't prepared to manifest everything I wanted. I remember one of my clients many years ago. I wonder if she's going to put that in her book. It would be great. That she came to me with very specific things. She was a playwright and an author, and she was having a play put on in a small town. And when she came to me, there were many things she wanted to manifest, basically. Primary to them was to get a bigger venue for her play, for it to go to Broadway or to go on a tour across the country, something like this. And that happened, and many more things. And very quickly, to be honest, within 3 months, I think we were talking, and she said, I didn't realize how unprepared I was to actually manifest what I wanted. I'm feeling emotion, I'm feeling grief, I'm feeling regret, I'm feeling like I don't deserve it. I'm afraid to believe that it's real. All right, so this is why the things that I like to work with to help you discover who you are giving you more internal power, giving you those processes that are needed for you to manifest daily. Because what happens, you go through one hero's journey, you emerge, you get chased out by those demons, you're like, wow, I'm in the new world, and then you have another call, and you have another call out of the ordinary, call to the next you, call to adventure. And in this process, you get the privilege of getting to excavate your true self and discover who you are. So when you do discover a deep fear, or you realize that something is coming up and you can't shake it, give it attention, listen to it. What would you want? You would want someone to love you, hold you, say, it's going to be okay, I'm here for you, just let it pass. Let it come up. Let the wisdom from it come up. Let the part of you that was put in charge of never letting you speak up or never letting you make money, let that part come and relax. You give that person, it's the end of your time here. You graduated. You don't have to do that job anymore. Let's all relax, recuperate, regenerate, renew, review, release, remember. Do the re's while you're in the retrograde. And Mercury is a messenger. Mercury is Thoth, okay? The messenger is appearing to slow down and come back to us right now. That means that messages are being brought to you that you maybe are ready to see, or you're ready to complete, or you forgot to finish. So let those things come up. Every one of these things are going to fine-tune your manifestation to where you live in a prosperous flow, not because everything is perfect in this moment and I have $1 million in the bank so I feel safe. You can't live that. You can't require that has to happen and then I'll feel good enough. That has to be there and then I feel good enough. I had a client who has a business and worked really long and hard to make it successful and prosperous and get the right employees. And right after she thought she had everything perfect, one employee quit and one client left. And she was devastated. And she said, but I did all this work to make it just right. It finally got it perfect. I want it to stay that way. Well, I've been there too. And one constant in reality, more than ever before on this planet, is change. Things are not going to stay that way. Enjoy that moment with those employees, with that lover, with these children, with this place that you are, with this disease that you're experiencing. Enjoy the moment because it's not going to stay the same. Doesn't mean that people are all going to die and leave your life, but you have to let go of this holding on because that is not how you manifest. You're too busy holding on and making it happen and thinking about it and worrying about it. You're not open. You're not ready to receive. You're not flowing. Okay. I've got to let you go. Thank you so much for being here. It's been so much fun. And as you can tell, I love this topic. There's so much to share. There's so many insights and tidbits and little things that are going to go pop for you and tools and things that you're just going to be amazed. So come, let's see what the manifestation is. And then you know what? We'll have some kind of a reunion a month or two later before the solstice, and we'll see what has manifested in everybody's life. How fantastic. All right, so hi Lindsay and Kier and Genevieve, and hello my Nabila, hello beautiful, and Debbie and Julie, of course, hello beautiful, and Lori, and oh wonderful. So I'm going to just read quickly here. Yes, I did. We sent a couple emails saying it was moved till today. Hello, thank you for calling me your fairy godmother. Such a blessing to see you. And Genevieve wants to say, everyone, that she's sending love. And she manifested a new used car this week. That's fantastic. And my Jeep still broke down. That's wonderful. You know, I had a client who was desperate. She was destitute. She was in a divorce. Her husband took everything. She couldn't feed her kids. She had no food in the cupboard. It was terrible. And she worked with me and did a few things, and she applied them vehemently. And her car broke down, and she literally just had a meltdown. She was, I'm at the end of my wit. I have nothing. I have no resources. How am I going to get a new car? What happened and what manifested was a result of her taking control of that feeling and changing it into, well, I'm in the flow. This or something better. What's there for me? She manifested a car with a lower payment that got 2 or 3 times better gas mileage. And something else was better about it. And then she manifested a job. She lost her job where her boss took her to the grocery store, handed her the grocery cart, and said, fill it up with everything you need and I will pay for it, because he knew that her cupboards were bare. She used to call herself Mother Hubbard. And she brought home so much stuff that her cupboards were literally open and overflowing, and her children sat on the couch and watched the kitchen cupboards instead of the TV that night and told her, Mom, it's such a strange feeling. So if you've been feeling scarce, if you felt that scarcity or that fear or that limitation or that lack for so long that it's normal, do something prosperous for yourself. Believe that those solutions are there, because they are. Okay? And your intuitive self is trying to show you them all the time. Woohoo! Okay. Hello, Pamela. Mercury is definitely retrograde. It sure is. Nabila, thank you, Akasha. I needed to hear this at this time. I live with someone who can be like that. Came on to this call with my flow interrupted. Yeah. And, listening to this, just received inspiration on the first simple step I can take to reconnect. Perfect. So that's the thing, too, is we don't want to think we have to do it all ourselves. I already know how to do that. I've been spending 30 years doing this spiritual shit. Hey, I know. We all feel that way at some point, but it's silly, because there's resources everything where within us, around us. And just say, I was floating in the ocean, just saying, I'm ready for, there's a part of my life that isn't moving. Something is not happening there. And I've gone into it a couple times and gotten to the frustration point, and I back out very quickly, and I just look at it, love it, and say, what's next? What's next? Because I only want what's optimal for me, right, to unfold. And then I go do what? I float, or I meditate, or I teach, or do something that gets you realigned to that. You weren't able to download the document. Okay, if you're not able to download anything, email support@nanakasha.com or ASST@nanakasha.com, and Donna will help you. I'll tell her to take a look at it again. Sometimes the shop puts it on hold, so I'll have Donna. We got a lot of orders for these new free things over the weekend, so she's updating all of that. But she's always happy to send you the direct link. Okay, so if you can't get something to work in the shop, please ask us. You're welcome, Julie. Hello, SoCal Linda. Bought a Powerball ticket, feeling like a winner today. Woo! I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Lots of love. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. I hope I see you. Take care. Bye-bye.